Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into something that's, well, truly at the heart of the future of AI. We're going to be looking at the Data Manifesto, and this really big idea of redesigning the entire data economy from the ground up.
So let's just jump right in with the huge question. When you think about all the mind-blowing AI that's out there today, what do you think is its actual foundation? What's it all built on?
Now, I bet your first thought is probably the code, right? The super complex algorithms, the brilliant programming. And yeah, that's obviously a massive part of it, but it's not the bedrock. In fact, what if I told you it's not really the code at all?
Yep, it's the data, all of it. The huge, messy, complex piles of information that are used to train and teach these incredible systems. That is the real foundation.
Okay, so let's start right there. Let's unpack AI's real foundation, because understanding this is frankly crucial for everything else we're about to talk about.
You see, this is a huge mental shift for a lot of us. The manifesto just puts it so perfectly. Data is not a byproduct of AI, it is the foundation. Think about it, it's the raw material. You can have the most amazing code in the world, but without high-quality data, well, it's pretty much useless.
So if data is that important, you have to ask yourself, is this system we have for creating and collecting it actually working? And that leads us right to the core of the issue, what the manifesto calls the broken data model.
Right. So what's actually broken here? What's the problem? The source material really hones in on one big structural flaw that's causing all these downstream issues.
And that flaw is centralization. Basically, it's the model we have now, where these giant platforms own all the data and, you guessed it, capture pretty much all of the value. Meanwhile, the people who are actually doing the work, the contributors, creating and labeling the data, they get a one-time paycheck with almost zero ownership, very little recognition, and not much of a clue how their work is even being used.
In this chart just lays it out so clearly. Look at the left side, that's the world we're in now. The platform owns everything, you get paid once, end of story. It's just a transaction. But on the right, that's a totally new vision. The contributor has ownership, they get ongoing rewards, there's real transparency. You see the difference? It's a partnership, not just a purchase.
And the end result of this old, centralized model? Well, it actually discourages people from doing high-quality work because, hey, what's the long-term benefit for them? And maybe even worse, it systematically pushes away the real experts.
Which leads us to this really critical problem, a phenomenon the manifesto calls the expertise exodus. This is really about the human cost of this broken system.
So who are we even talking about here? Who are these experts getting left behind? We're talking about clinicians providing incredibly nuanced medical data, lawyers who can analyze complex legal texts, researchers, basically any kind of domain expert whose deep knowledge is just pure gold. These are the people we absolutely need to build the next wave of sophisticated AI.
So why are they walking away? This quote from the source just hits the nail on the head. The incentives, the rewards, they don't even come close to matching the skill, the effort, and frankly the huge responsibility that comes with providing this kind of high-stakes, expert-level data.
And the outcome is, well, pretty simple and pretty damaging. These experts either don't show up to the party in the first place, or they stick around for a little while and then they leave. I mean, why would they stay? The system just wasn't built for them.
And this is exactly why the manifesto argues that fixing this whole mess isn't just a nice to have, a good idea. It's not optional anymore. It is seriously urgent if we want AI to keep getting better in ways that actually matter. Okay, so we've definitely laid out the problem pretty clearly. Now let's pivot and talk about the solution that the manifesto proposes. It's called a human-centric redesign.
And look, the vision here isn't about making a few little tweaks around the edges. We're talking about a complete teardown and rebuild. The goal, right there in the manifesto, is to redesign the data economy from the absolute ground up, and this time put the human contributor right in the middle of it all.
So how do you actually do that? How do you make it happen? Well, according to the source, you build it on these 4 pillars. Number 1, you bake in quality from the very beginning. 2, you create a system that actually attracts and holds on to real expertise. 3, you guarantee total transparency into how all this data is being used. And finally, number 4, you create long-term incentives so the people contributing the data actually get to share in the value that it creates down the road.
And that brings us to the final and I think the most powerful question that this entire thing has been leading up to. If we all agree that data is the true foundation of AI, and we agree that it's the experts who have to build that foundation, then who should own it?
It's a question that really challenges the whole structure of today's AI industry, and it's one that we're all going to have to answer.